Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Need I Say Myrrh, the Christmas podcast. And today I am delighted to welcome as our special Christmas guest, Barry Strudwick. Hello, Barry.
Hi, Adam. I'm delighted to be here.
It's good to have you. And you are dressed in festive attire. And for those who are just listening on audio, can you describe your festive outfit for us today?
Okay, so my festive outfit says driving home for Christmas, and there's a cricketer executing a beautiful off drive with a Christmas scene behind it. Yeah.
And cricket is the well-known winter sport, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, if you play cricket in Britain during the summer, you will have played in temperatures of like about 5 degrees in the rain, and witnessed the ball hitting the pitch and kind of leaving a massive dent in it. So yeah, it's an all game, Adam.
Yeah. Well, I haven't asked you to introduce yourself yet. So who are you, Barry, aside from being a fan of cricket and maybe other sports? Who are you?
Okay, yeah. I'm Barry. I'm the pastor at Moorside Church in a place called Driglington, which almost nobody's heard of. It's a village between Leeds and Bradford. About 7,000 people living there in total. It's mainly sort of commuter-ish, but it's very kind of self-contained. The village has got kind of almost like everything in the village. So yeah, it's quite high up as well. It's always colder in Driglington than anywhere else in the area in Leeds or Bradford. You know, just higher up. So yeah, got wife, 2 kids who are both at high school.
And how long have you been up there in Bridlington?
Okay, so I've been in Driglington for 10 and a half. Is it 10 and a half? No, it's not. 13 and a half years. Oh dear. Maths.
Time goes.
So I was a trainee for 18 months, then the assistant pastor for 3 years. The pastor left, and I was appointed pastor. So yeah.
Yeah, so you've seen quite a few Christmases in that time.
Yes. The downside of it is it's great. The downside of as a pastor is you end up exhausting all the Christmas passages, and you end up starting again. And
Yes.
you have to find new angles, hopefully, on every single part. But that's part of
Yeah.
it. Or here's the secret one: you do the same thing as you did a few years previously, and see if anyone notices.
Yes, exactly. Yes. It's a bit harder now that we live stream our sermons here, Richard, and that the recordings stay online. So I can't get away with that anymore. Not that I ever did that, but if I had done that. Anyway, let's get into the questions, Barry. I've got some questions that I'm asking every guest on this podcast, starting with Barry. What is your favourite festive food?
Okay, well, there's 2. One is going to be probably the same as a lot of people: pigs in blankets. I mean, I don't know why we only have them at Christmas. I mean, they're just amazing. But when we were growing up, there was a lady in our church who used to cook fudge and give us some every Christmas. And we get it in like a little margarine pot, and you'd have your name stick on the top. And we saw the box. It was a box of stalk, but you knew what was in it. It was this fudge. And honestly, it was just the greatest thing. It was one of those kind of fudges that when you're eating it, you could actually feel your teeth sort of rotting. There was that much sugar in it. It was, every Christmas when I was young, looking forward to that. So yeah, Sadly she's now with the Lord, but yes, I don't get the fudge anymore. But pigs in blankets would be the one I get every year.
Well, yeah. It's a classic answer, and we sometimes have pigs in blankets outside of Christmas. So I think you could do it all year round.
Absolutely, I don't know why we don't.
Do you still buy yourself some fudge in memory of your childhood fudge experiences?
Not at Christmas. I tend to buy it when I'm in places like Blackpool. Tourist places with the postcard on the front. So yes, I did.
Yeah, so you got some at the FIC Leaders Conference. Yeah, it's one of the good things about being in Blackpool, so you could get fudge easily. So there we go. Let's move on to the next question then, which is about music. I want to know what your favourite non-religious Christmas song is.
Okay, so now this is an interesting one. So I was born in 1973. Now 1973, in terms of British history, was not a great year. It was the year of the 3-day week. I think it was Yom Kippur War in 1973 as well. There was a petrol crisis. There were strikes. It was all very miserable. And I was born in 1973, which some people would say fits my mood. I'm a grumpy old so-and-so. But in 1973 was a classic Christmas song year. So if I tell you that it isn't my favourite, it's near. The number one was Merry Christmas Everybody by Slade, which is fantastic. That's not my favourite. Also in the charts in 1973 was Step Into Christmas by Elton John. Not my favourite. My favourite got to number 4, I think, and it's I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day by Wizard. Absolutely brilliant song. Just captures the music captures the sort of traditional kind of ridiculous ideas about Christmas, the snow and all that kind of stuff. And everyone knows it never snows at Christmas. But the sound of it does. And in terms of like just thinking about 1973 being a miserable winter for a lot of people, just like Merry Christmas Everybody by Slade, a real pick me up. And whenever I hear it, I love it. And Roy Wood, genius. And I've heard cover versions of it, and they're terrible. None of them capture the majestic glory of 1973 production. And yeah, it's a fantastic song with a bit of a key change as well, which you don't see coming if you don't know it. And yeah, fantastic, absolutely fantastic song.
No, it is a good song, and I hadn't realised that 1973 was such a good year for Christmas music. That's quite special.
Yeah, well, it's. I think it's when people now talk about the Christmas number one's a big thing. I think when you've had songs like that in the past, that's what pushes it to a big thing. I mean, I think the last decade's been pretty forgettable. I'm the one who was a teenager when Mistletoe and Wine came out, and I loved it. I was the only person in my year to love Mistletoe and Wine by Cliff Richard because it was just so chintzy Christmas.
Yeah, that's a good song. Yes, I'm not sure I could name any Christmas number ones from the last 10 years.
No, I think I can only name the one from 1973 because I was born in it. I saw a documentary about Slade, and Noddy Holder said about how they wrote Merry Christmas Everybody, and he said it was miserable. Everyone was really down, sad. It was a really terrible time for Britain, and they wanted to write a happy song. And you're like, oh yeah, that's a happy song. And then you realise that Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day was out the same year, and you're like, wow, what a year. Yeah. I listen to them all year. I get told off for singing Christmas songs in the spring. I start singing around it. Dad, shut up. So
yeah, if they're good songs, then why not? And given that the song "I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day" is literally about having Christmas every day, that it's suitable to sing every day, isn't it? So yeah, that's fair enough. I'm on your side, Barry. But let's move on to the next question, which is about decorations.
Yeah.
What I'd love to know about is your least favourite Christmas decoration.
That's a hard one. That is a really hard one. I mean, there's things I like, but I don't like the mess they leave. So tinsel I like, but it always leaves maybe it's the stuff we buy. Always leaves a real mess. The fake snow, I'm not a fan of. I'm just you might do it. I'm not into the kind of putting it on windows and stuff. I think that's a step too far for me.
We don't do it, just to reassure you.
Oh, I don't mind. It's not as if I'm coming down to South Wales, is it, Adam? Sort of.
Well, you'd be very welcome.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it might be tricky in my schedule. Yeah, that kind of thing. Most of the time, Christmas decorations are fantastic. Just stick them up. I'd have them up. I'd have 3 up longer. Definitely.
What's your household policy on when the tree goes up?
There isn't really a policy. The policy is what we have is when my wife, she likes doing it, because if I do it, it ends up with all sorts of stuff all over the place and not looking rather embarrassing. She makes a much better job of it, but it's when she's prepared to do it. So she normally finds a window of time. I think last year we had it up. The second week in December. So it could be later. It just depends. When it was just a tourist, it would be a lot later. It would be sort of like the week before Christmas, going out buying a tree at the last minute, hoping there's one, and then throwing stuff all over it. Now we do it earlier with the kids and stuff. But anytime really. I'd have it up in September, me definitely.
Yeah, well, why not? Yes.
Yeah, she wouldn't.
But maybe you need like a little small one in your study that you can keep all year round.
Thing is, this is the study and we share it, you see, and she's in.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it wouldn't.
Okay, well, we'll move on to the last question then, which is getting to the heart of what Christmas is about for us as who is your favourite person in the nativity account, not including Jesus?
Thank you. That's helpful, because if I don't say Jesus, there'll be also people going, "Oh dear." I think my favourite, it's probably Joseph. I don't think, even though sort of the society we live in, we could probably get it a bit more in terms of what he would have felt. I think what he went through, I mean, we're not really told, but I'm just trying to put him in, put yourself in his position, and to understanding some of the laws and the culture around the time. I think his willingness to just, even before the angel appeared to him, he was going to do the right thing. You know, he was going to, you know, there's an unwanted pregnancy, or you know, it's nothing to do with him. He wasn't going to make a big song and dance. He was just going to do everything quietly, make sure Mary wasn't, you know, in disgrace. And I think that says a lot about depth of faith, depth of character, and then his willingness to then go with what the angel says, and to you know, to do what she said, to do what the angel says, and then, you know, obey when they're told to go to Egypt, obey when they're told to come back. And also the bit we probably miss is when they come back from Egypt, you know, his fear about going back to Bethlehem, because they were going to go back to Bethlehem. But they walk, you know, he's scared of Herod, so he goes back to Nazareth. And I just wonder that trek back from Egypt. Well, I just wonder what, you know, what was going through his mind, was, you know, what was the right thing. I suppose, perhaps being a father, you know, you think like that. You know, what was he? And he was still prepared to sort of go back to Palestine. So yeah, probably Joseph, I think, would be my favourite. That's not to say the others aren't important. Wonderful. I've got a soft spot for the wise men, or magi, whatever you call them. But I think Joseph, just in terms of how much is not written, but if you think about it, what he must have faced, about the challenges, and I think he's going to be a very interesting person in the new creation. You know,
I'm sure, yes.
Whether we'll be bothered about, you know, I don't know, but you know, because we'll be taken up with the Lord. But
are you going to be speaking about Joseph this Christmas in church?
I'm speaking about him on Sunday. This
Sunday, that'll be the last Sunday of November from when we're recording.
So people know I haven't gone completely mad. Decided this year to do an Advent series, not sort of just in December. Just do it through November into December, across seven Sunday mornings, going from Isaiah, Micah, and then into the angel appearing to Mary, angel appearing to Joseph, the birth, then the Israel, you know, the Jewish witnesses, the shepherds, and then the Gentile witnesses, the wise men. Do it all before Christmas, just to kind of, instead of having bits taken from everywhere, have it as a kind of a whole. Never done it before, and so seeing how it goes this year. So that's why I'm doing it at the end of November.
That doesn't surprise me, given your answers earlier on. I suppose you'd be happy to do an Advent series in September.
Yeah, I think I might push it a bit far. But no, I think I've done some of the Christmas stuff at other times of the year, simply because I've been going through books. We end up sort of doing it in, you know, February, and I think being tied to the calendar is a dangerous thing, that you just do Christmas at Christmas, and actually, you know, I'm not convinced about that, really. I think do it anytime. There's always things there that aren't Christmas, and I think it's good for us. I think it's good for us as Christians not to hang Christmas things on the birth of Jesus. If you take it out of Christmas, it gives you a bit more freedom, and sort of, you're not thinking about the turkey and the trimmings. You're thinking just about normal life. So
no, that's a good point, and that's a good place to end our conversation today. So thank you for joining us, Barry, and we hope that you have a very happy Christmas.
Yes, and need I say myrrh? I hope you do too, Adam.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!